Have you ever seen people online that appear to be wealthy and they have a lot of money? Or have you seen people like in a spotlight and it look like they are super wealthy? Or you know for a fact that they've gotten a lot of money, but it seems like there's still more to it? If you ever wanted to know like more of the behind the scenes of people that have a lot of money or appear to have a lot of money, in this video, I want to talk to you about the other side of financial freedom that most people never talk about. Now, the one thing that I do want you to understand, like first and foremost, is that when it comes to financial freedom, you do not have to be a millionaire. Believe it or not, you do not have to be a millionaire. There are tons of people. And when I say tons, meaning like there are millions and millions of people that are financially free and they are not millionaires whatsoever, and they're taking care of other people. So that's something that I think is really important to understand, because when you think about it, a lot of people, there's a lot more people that's not millionaires than there are people that are millionaires and billionaires. And so what does that mean? That means that no matter where somebody is, it's still possible for them. Because when you don't think something is possible for you, you won't even try. And so I think that's very important to first and foremost understand up front. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand that a lot of the people that you see on TV and online, they have a lot of money, but they are not financially free. And I'm going to prove that to you a little bit later on. Now, I want to say this too. I am like this is not a video that's bitter against wealthy people or like trying to, say that they're wrong or evil. This is not that video. I'm just saying that a lot of people that you see online that have a lot of money, or they appear to have a lot of money, they're still not financially free. However, before we even get there, one thing that I do want to say about financial freedom is that whether you believe it or not, financial freedom is your birthright. Financial freedom is your birthright. If we were face to face, I would ask you to repeat after me and say, financial freedom is our birthright, because it is. If we're all created equal, like we hear that so often, or we've heard that so often over time, that we're all created equal. And if that is the case, why is it that some people that grew up with the same conditions that you and I grew up in, they didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, they didn't grow up inheriting $400 million, they didn't grow up with that. But there are some people that grew up with the same conditions that you did and I did, and they have some of the same challenges, the same family issues, and they made it. If it's possible for them, it's also possible for you and I. And that's very important, because sometimes I think when we look at the super elite, we give ourselves an out. We think that they're somehow special. We think that they're somehow, better than us. And I'm not saying that they're not special, because they are. Like, they're great and so are we. But their greatness should not dim any kind of light on our greatness. And our greatness should not dim light on somebody else's greatness. It's like we're all great. And sometimes other people understand how to exercise certain things to tap into the same thing that we have access to. And even though something might be accessible to us, if we don't understand how to tap into it or have the awareness that it's even there, then the likelihood of us actually leveraging and maximizing is slim to none, because we don't even know that it's possible. So I want to start off by saying that abundance and financial freedom, it is your birthright. Now, this is not going to be just a rah-rah video. Like, there are some other things to it, so stick with me. But I just want to first and foremost just say that, because I think it's important to understand. And I will say this, I'm not saying everybody. However, I think there are a small group, or maybe a larger group, of people that are quote-unquote wealthy, if you will, that want you to feel like it's not possible for you. And that somehow they're in this elite distinction, or this elite group that most people can never get into, because when they keep that separation, that feeds into their need for significance. And it's like when people look at other people as like this godlike status, they maintain a level of distance that causes some people to worship them on some level. Now, I'm saying worship not even from a negative sense, because people don't realize that sometimes they can like literally hate somebody and they're still worshiping that person, because that person occupies so much time and real estate up in their minds, and it's like they're thinking about that person all the time. That's also a form of worship, even though most people don't even look at it from that perspective. But there are some super wealthy people that want you to think that it's more difficult than what it is, it's more complicated than what it is, and it's not even possible for people that don't make a certain amount, or if you don't live over here, or if you don't have this kind of business. And it's like, that's simply not true. So often though, a lot of people that are just like us on the same level as we are, or they grew up just like us and they are super, I won't say super wealthy, but they're financially free. We don't hear about them. Like we don't hear about those stories because a lot of those people, they didn't do what they do to get where they are for other people to validate them or for other people to know. They're just living life and truly enjoying it and appreciating it. So a lot of times you don't hear about them, but they're all around us. If wealth, financially freedom is their birthright, so it is yours, and so it is mine. And so I want you to like have a hunger and a thirst of that being your experience, and do yourself a favor. When you see super wealthy people, make sure you're not demonizing them, because it's not wealthy people that's bad, it's bad people are bad. And if you criticize somebody for having wealth, you can never acquire what you criticize other people for having. And that's very important for all of us to understand, including myself. If I see somebody on TV and I'm naming them like wealthy or bad, or they probably did something wrong to get that wealth, whether it's conscious or unconsciously, I can never experience that level of wealth because I'm criticizing them for having it. So I can never acquire it. And so I want you to do yourself a favor. Just stay conscious of what you feel, but also your words when you hear about wealthy people, and when you're around other people that are talking about wealthy people. Because if you're around other people that are talking about wealthy people, guess what? When you get there, they're going to talk about you too. So just be mindful of that. One thing that's critical to know is that financial freedom gives you the ability to buy freedom for the people that you love. And here's what I mean when I say that. There might be people in your family that are a little bit older that like you love them, and you've been seeing them work for 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 plus years, and they're still working, and it seems like they're not any further along than they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And you understand that, man, if you could just help them out, like maybe it's something that they've always wanted to do, a place they've always wanted to go, or they just wanted to not struggle. And when you get to a point of financial freedom, now you are secure, and it gives you that ability to help other people like that. And so there are some people that when they get a certain level of money, like they retire their spouses, they retire their parents, they retire other family members in their family. And it's like financial freedom gives you the ability to do that. Now, a lot of what we see on TV and a lot of what we see online, some of it is not real. And most of it is very selfish. And why do I say that? Now, I don't know what a lot of these people do with their money. However, I understand that there's a large group of people where it's almost like they just totally cut off their family because they're like, you just want to be around me because I'm rich or because I'm famous. And sometimes it's not that at all. They just want to be around them because they love them. Like, hey, I remember you when you was 3 years old or 13 or whatever. But sometimes people, they get to this place of finances, and it's like because they're insecure with their own selves, they question everybody's motives of why somebody wants to be around them. And they think that somebody wants something from them because that's how they are and that's who they are. But that's not how everybody else is. And some people, they get money, and it's almost like they become a prisoner in their own mind because they're not sure, like, who can they trust or who can't they trust, because they have the wrong people in their ear. And not all, but some of these people, they have people that have been in their life from day one. They have people that have sacrificed, and they have given up so much of their life to allow this person to get to where they are. And now that they're there, they just totally forget about the foundation that was built for them to stand on and get to where they are. And they totally forget about these people. And sometimes the people that they're leaving behind, they're humble. Like they're happy that this person just got to their status, but it might make them feel a little bit appreciated if this person at least acknowledged them. Maybe it's not any money at all. Maybe it's just acknowledgement. And sometimes people get to these places and they never acknowledge the people that are truly responsible for them getting there. Yeah, somebody could have one great idea or one big break or, one YouTube video away for somebody seeing them singing and all of these kind of things. And it's like that might have propelled them. But who supported them to even get to that point of even being seen? That's what I'm talking about. And it's like when you get to a point where you are financially free, it gives you the ability to appreciate those people, to love on those people, to give those people a life that they desire and probably deserve. And it makes you feel good to be able to give to somebody who's given so much to you, and you're able to contribute to their life in a way that gives them something that they probably would have never had it not been for you. and you're giving them something that you would have never had it not been for them. So it's a reciprocation. And it's like when you have financial freedom, it really gives you the ability to buy freedom for people that you love. And I really believe when you look at it from that perspective, sometimes it will cause you to do something, and it will drive you to do something that you have within you to do, but you won't do it for yourself, but you will do it for somebody else. Because sometimes we get content, with ourselves, and we're like, well, I don't need that much, or, I don't really want that. And so we don't really reach our full potential in a lot of instances because it's nothing requiring us to. Because the life that we live, the amount of money that we have, and everything else that we have, it's like, we're comfortable with that. We're good with that. But when you think about having more than enough, like that drives you not to get more stuff and not to have more money, but just to reach your full potential. Because sometimes in order for you to acquire what's needed for you to take care of the people that you love, requires you to commit to a level that maybe you're not committing at right now. And the reality is that was me a few years ago. And it took me thinking about my family and retiring people in my family and leaving generational wealth for me to even up my game, even though what I was doing previously, it looked like a lot, but it still wasn't my max capacity. And so sometimes when you rely on helping other people, it just helps you to get to the highest level of fulfillment in your own work ethic and getting all of everything that's inside of you out of you to truly serve those on the other side. And I will say this. One of the biggest things that financial freedom gives you is choices. It gives you the ability to buy whatever you want, even though you don't choose to. Because when you have that kind of power, and I'm saying power for a reason, when you have the ability to buy whatever you want, but you don't choose to, sometimes that within itself gives you a feeling better about yourself in ways that you never even knew was possible. Because now you're getting to a place of actualization where you're just content with being with you. It's like you don't need a car to make you feel a certain way. You don't need this material item to make you feel a certain way. You don't have to have this amount of money in your bank account to feel a certain kind of way. Like you feel that way just because you choose to. And sometimes when you are financially free, it gives you the ability to have the option to make those kind of choices that really puts you in a space of choice. Because sometimes when we don't have a lot of money, we're forced to do things and we feel like we didn't have a choice in the matter. And even though I'm saying forced, sometimes decisions by default are made for us based on how much money we have and don't have. And so when you actually have financial freedom, it allows you to not make decisions by default. And it gives you the freedom and the liberty to make choices based on integrity, and make choices based on alignment, and make choices based on purpose. And when you can make choices from that perspective, life is incredible. Because the reality is this, when it comes to true freedom is when you have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect. Think about that. Nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to protect. And earlier I was saying that a lot of people that you might see online and people in the spotlight, they have a lot of money, but they are not financially free because freedom is not something that they have, even though the finances is. Nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect. Unfortunately, how these people even maintain some of their wealth, they have to have something to hide. Sometimes people only get to that status to where they are because they have something to prove. It's like somebody got a chip on their shoulder. Somebody told them that they couldn't do it. And so they spend all of their life, they dedicate and commit their life to proving this person wrong. And it's like whenever you acquire something out of bitterness, what you are left with is bitterness. Whether you're a bitter billionaire, a bitter millionaire, or a bitter, 20,000 square foot house owner, you're still bitter. Because what you did was for the wrong reason. And it's like, okay, now you proved to them that you could do it and they said you couldn't. Guess who controlled who? They did. Now, people might look at that as inspiration, but whenever you do something, you want to look at it truly from an inspiration perspective and not a desperation perspective. Because when people do things because they want to prove somebody wrong or prove that they could do what somebody else said that they couldn't do, that's desperation. That's not freedom. And so this is why there are so many people that are financially free and they are not millionaires, because they've acquired freedom and they have enough money to take care of them and whoever else they want to take care of. And it does not take millions of dollars to do it. Now, am I saying to not go for millions and billions? I'm not saying it at all. I'm saying go for whatever your capacity can hold. Like whatever your capacity can hold, because for some people, it's like, hey, their capacity might be 1 million. It might be 10 million. Some people's capacity is not billions of dollars, and that's okay. And some people will make you feel like because you don't even aspire to be a billionaire that you're somehow a loser. Not at all. Like, to really get to a place of fulfillment, contentment, and living a life of purpose, that's success. It's not about how much money you have. Sometimes money is just a measurement to how many people you've helped. And if you are truly living your God-given purpose and your God-given calling. But in terms of the amount that you have, that doesn't communicate whether you're a winner or a loser or not. Because I tell you this, there are a lot of people that are multi-billionaires with a B, but their family don't like them. Like, their marriage is falling apart. Their kids don't even know them because they're always gone. And then you have other people that are, making $100,000. And I'm not saying that that's not nothing. I'm just saying that it's worlds apart from each other from a financial perspective. And it's like these people on the other side, like, they got family all around them. They got kids that love them. They have an incredible marriage, and people want what they have, which is this happy life that they're making the best out of. Because for some people, that is their max capacity from a financial perspective. And to me, I think if your max capacity is 100,000 and you hit that target, who really won? The person who lived to the fullest. That's the person that won. And you can see, no matter how much money somebody has, you can see who's really living to the fullest or not. Especially when you look at their family. Because I'm not saying in all cases, but a lot of times, the reflection of a person's true fulfillment and happiness, it can be seen in the family that's closest to them. And I've seen this countless times, especially being a speaker and being on stages and traveling the world, and you see all these other people that are speaking and doing the same thing, and you hear them talk about their family, or you hear them not talk about their family, or you see their family, and it's like, wow, you got a standing ovation. All of these people are cheering for you, calling your name, great, phenomenal speech and presentation, but you're feeling at home. And you're using audiences to make you feel significant about yourself because of what you feel when you get home based on what you're not doing that you could be doing. That's not financial freedom at all, even though they're making tons of money. And it's like nobody should tell you what you need to aspire to. Now, should and need are two trigger words for me. However, the one thing that I do want to encourage you to just be mindful of is that financial freedom is your birthright. It's something that was here for you to experience before you even got here. And you think about how much more abundant, joyful, happy, free that your life would be if you had it. Now, financial freedom for you, it might look totally different from financial freedom for somebody else. And I think one of the biggest things, again, is going back to freedom when you have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, and nothing to protect. And it's like when you have freedom from that perspective, your freedom is not based on somebody else's. Because what their freedom look like, it might be worlds apart from what yours look like. And so often, we tend to get jealous, or we covet what somebody else have, or we discredit what we have because it's not like what somebody else has. And we have no idea if what they have is really what we see. Because what we see and what they have, it might be two different things. And I think it's really important for us to truly understand, what does the ultimate lifestyle look like to us? What does freedom look like to us? What level of finances do we want to acquire, and who do we want to help? Because sometimes people, they say they want to be multi-millionaires, but when you really sit down and you add up all of what you want to do on a regular basis as a lifestyle, all of the people that you want to help, all of the different organizations that you want to give to, you might not even need $1 million. My wife and I, we did an exercise just last year on what does the ultimate lifestyle look like for us? And it's like once we add up all of those numbers, it didn't take millions of dollars a year to do it. And it really shocked me because I thought before doing this exercise that it took a lot more money. And so what it allowed me to understand is that I'm actually close to financial freedom from a financial perspective in terms of really giving at a really high level. And for some people, it's like giving $40,000 a month. Like, that's nothing, that's peanuts. And for some people, it's not. For me, that's a big deal. And especially with who I want to help, and me knowing like what it takes to really help these different organizations and these people and to move them forward. Like, I know like that's how much it would take. And so sometimes we feel like our number is not big enough because somebody else's number is big enough. Now I might do that for a year and my number might increase. That's fine. But for me going through that exercise and really understanding what my number was, it's like now, like that activated something within me to really go after that number. Because sometimes people will say like they want to be a millionaire, and it's like some people would never, and I typically don't use universals, but some people would never be a millionaire until they have something in their life that requires it. Because if you don't have something in your life that requires a certain number, you won't get to that number. And even for myself, it's like when I saw my number, it's like, okay, man, that's definitely doable. So much so that it caused me to understand, like, man, have I been robbing the people I could help from certain opportunities because I thought I needed more than what I currently have? And so sometimes, like, really seeing that number, really seeing what it is, it will allow you to see like how far or how close you are. And it's a great measuring stick to really help you to understand like what's required for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. And when it comes to financial freedom, every single person, in my personal opinion, every single person on this earth is deserving of it. Because when you look around at the world and you look at how much money is in the world, it is enough, more than enough, for all of us to be abundantly wealthy. And I believe that with all of my being. And sometimes when it comes to financial freedom, many people don't have financial freedom because they believe that it's for the other people, whoever the other people are. I don't know who the other people are, but some people think that it's not for them. That it's for everybody else except them. And I know in my heart of hearts that that is not true. Now, something else that is huge, and I won't say this is the most important, but it's really critically important, is that when you are a place of financial freedom, it eliminates and reduces chronic stress. We don't realize, especially in this country, in the United States where I am at, that chronic stress is indirectly the number one killer in our country. Now, what is the main cause of chronic stress? The main cause of chronic stress is financial instability. So from that perspective, financial instability is one of the leading killers in our country. Now, I did a whole book on this last year, and I wrote a book called Money is Killing You Daily, really going deeper into how and why chronic stress is killing Americans, and they don't even know it. But more importantly, solutions on how to change it. Because one thing that's really irritating to me is when people talk so much about the problem and they go deep into the problem and they just like put salt on the wound in the problem and they just keep like massaging and just beating up the problem, but they don't give you a solution. And so that's something that I was committed to doing, is not only talking about a problem that a lot of people are not even aware of, but also giving a solution to it. And I really believe in my heart that chronic stress will be not just reduced, but I think it will be eliminated the more people become financially free. Because when you become financially free, you now become financially aware of a lot of things that cause stress. And now you also become aware on how you can help other people. Because sometimes helping people is not always financial. Because some people that are, quote unquote, short on money, they don't have a financial problem. They have a mindset problem. They have a spending problem, because there are a lot of people, they make more than enough. They just spend more than they have, And so it's like if you gave them more money, they're just going to spend more money because they have a spending problem. It's not a money problem. And it's also a mindset problem. And when you become more financially aware because you're financially free, you can help people in a way that you can see their blind spots that they can't see. And sometimes it doesn't require you giving them money to help them, because sometimes when you give people money, you're doing the worst thing possible. You're hindering the help because you're giving them something that just causing them to prolong the problem because you're giving them more money to do so. They just need to reprioritize what they already have, because what they have is more than enough. And that's a key thing right there. What we need to truly get to financial freedom, we already have it within us. And I know that might sound cliche, but it is true. Sometimes it just takes us asking ourselves the right question and taking the right action from the question that we ask ourselves to truly tap into our full potential that will bring financial abundance and financial freedom to our lives. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to comment below and let us know what is something about financial freedom that maybe you've seen that a lot of other people haven't seen as well, because, you know, we can all learn from each other. And even though like I'm giving the different things that I've seen related to financial freedom that people don't talk about, I think that there might be something that maybe you've seen that I haven't and other people haven't as well, that we can all learn from you. So comment below and let us know, what have you seen about financial freedom that a lot of people don't talk about? Because depending on what you say might be the next video. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. And if you're new here, I want to ask you to consider subscribing and hit that like button.